Welcome back to today's sad reality. I'm probably not going to do anything for this gameplay because it's an idle game, so feel free to look at the screen the entire time. Um, Speaking of not doing anything, that reminds me of my coworkers. Ha, gotta love that. Yesterday I was sick out of my mind. And by sick, I mean I think it was allergies. I woke up today and I feel totally fine. But yesterday was like miserable. Oh my gosh. I started off with like I got up and I was like, okay, things are fine, a little bit of runny nose, whatever. But by the time I got to work, I had like snot dripping down my face pretty much the entire time. In fact, I would say it was a disgrace to be at work yesterday. Um, but that's not where the story ends either, because instead of going home or whatever, the people who were totally fine and doing whatever were on their phones. I was the only one on the front end doing things. In fact, there were not one but two people standing around doing nothing that have been working there longer than I have, and I'm like, that's great. When they were asking how I was doing, and I was like, I think I'm either sick or my allergies are really bad. The response I got was, well, be sure to keep that to yourself now. Yeah. So gosh, humanity's a failure. I'm hating life right now. Let me tell you that much. Um, it's funny too because it feels like all the people that might have once believed in anything either stopped existing or stopped caring or whatever else. So that leaves me, I guess. Last night I got home and I was just like, man, I want to scream at the world, at everyone, at myself, at my parents for locking me into this fucking life that I live. Because apparently this is better than the alternative. Um, I want to scream at friends for never being there. I want to scream at my coworkers for not doing their jobs because it feels like I'm working three jobs instead of one and getting paid while the other people are getting paid literally more than I am in some cases. I'm tired of it. I don't really know what to do. My boss was talking with one of my other coworkers because he just got back from like a week-long vacation or whatever, and you know, I'm so glad he gets vacation days and then comes back and then does literally jack shit while I have to do all of his work. That was my favorite part of last night while I felt like a disease had entered my body. In fact, usually when I'm bothered by things, it's kind of goes under the radar, but sometimes when I'm bothered by things and it's like to an extreme point because I know there is a facsimile, there is a the smallest amount of control over the situation, and yet we choose not to do that or we take the easy way out simply because we can. I get so beyond pissed off because it's one thing to look at the world and politicians or bad actors and be like, these people suck. But it's another thing for it to be people that you know, or coworkers, or friends, or family, or whatever, and then see people do dumb shit and it hurts sometimes a lot. Um, it got better towards the end of the night. Admittedly, they actually started getting their act together a little bit, but I remember I was like, they were like, "Hey, can you open up this food and do this like with this box I needed to open or whatever?" And I'm like, this is probably a tomorrow type of thing because it's not A, super pertinent, and B, I'm sick. You probably don't want me touching food." And they're like, "No, you should do it today." Okay, and maybe y'all shouldn't be on your phones for 20 or 30 minutes. Maybe it would get done if someone else would put their hands in the mix. I don't know. Um, but surely life will not be this way forever. Right? 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 Maybe. Who knows? Um, Tomorrow's the big day for talking with big people at Big Corpo, I guess. And my boss said yesterday that I was going to get a bit of a nice bonus for all the work that I've done, because again, it's literally the most work that anyone else in the company has done. And I feel awful. Not because of any of that, but just because it really does take a tax on you mentally, doing all the things you do, and still nobody giving a shit. I came home yesterday to my mom and I was like, hey, look, I appreciate every 2 weeks you trying to tell me to get another job or having another opportunity for me, but it never goes anywhere. So I told her just to stop with any of the opportunities because I'd rather simply not know about if anything else out there was better because I don't think it was ever going to happen. When 20 or 30 suggestions have gone your way And I'm like, hey, yeah, sure, I would love to meet these people. I would, genuinely. And then she either sabotages it, self-sabotages, or it just doesn't happen. And I think that's my mom's probably a good reason for that. Um, Gosh, I wonder what I'll look back on this being like. I'll be like, wow, I was a crybaby back then. Wow, all this sucked, you know? Because the two options here are either life gets way better, hopefully, drastically, and I lose myself, my soul atrophies beyond the point of caring anymore, and you become like the Mr. Beasts of this world, and you own a philanthropy, and then you also kind of tactically screw over the world around you anyways, or maybe it just continues to get worse. We'll see. It's just crazy to me, how fortunate I am by comparison to all the things around me, and I recognize that, but how it feels like day after day after day, every day goes by, and it's just a waste. Like any motivation that you do have to make something good dies the moment you realize that you have to go back to everything else, and that those things that you were working on will probably never amount to anything beyond simply the smallest shred of whatever it is that matters to you personally. And maybe that's what it's supposed to be about. Maybe it's supposed to be about something like that. But to me, it's always been about the mark that we leave, the legacy that we leave behind, the people that we leave behind, the people that we've influenced. And it never seems like it is about that for anyone else anymore. I wonder what it would be like if this channel had a face cam. Um, People joke that I look like Mark Zuckerberg. I have a very forgettable face. In fact, back in middle school, there was a field trip that we went on for a band thing, and I remember getting forgotten at a place. So everyone else kind of started walking away, and we were told to like stay put because our teacher needed something. And even the teacher forgot and like walked away, and I'm like, okay, well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, it won't happen again in life. And yet it seems like the world around me rushes by, and we're stuck here twiddling our thumbs, waking up in the morning, sleeping 12 and a half hours because you felt like shit yesterday. Your entire day's gone by already. You have chores that your mom wants you to do because it's a retaliatory thing because I told her last night that I didn't really want to hear about any of the opportunities she'd had because it feels like more depressing than anything else to me. So, like, the two options she had were I'll back up a little bit. I came home yesterday and I was like, "Hey, mom, today kind of sucked, you know, just like every other day has." And I've been pretty open about all these things too. Um, and I told her exactly what I've just told the microphone here that I want to scream at life and at people, at friends, family for not ever doing the things we're supposed to do. Like if we're gonna have kids, I hope we care enough to teach them these things, to teach them to love, so that they remember what it's like to love, so that they know how to love, how to do the things that matter in this world. And it feels like there's a bit of a generational curse in my family at least. My mom's adopted. Um, I am a byproduct of my mom, who's an adoptee, because whatever situation her family was in, and my dad, who completely abandoned his family because he wanted to be with my mom. And I get it. We have the things that we want to do, but it feels like we've established a generational curse. So this morning I was like, I really hope for my sake one of two things happens. Either I have kids and this generational curse is just suddenly broken, and I'm able to teach them how to love and how to be passionate and how to enjoy the things that I think we all ought to enjoy, or simply that curse ends with me. Tangent aside, I got home yesterday and my mom's like, I don't want you to feel like you're condemned in this life. That was the word I'd used. And the word she used was, I don't want you to feel like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, like that. If you know what that is, I'd be impressed. Um, And I'm just like, well, why are we here? October, gosh, I still have this calendar up here with the faces I still haven't finished drawing yet. October of last year was, well, it's better than the year before, that much I'll say. I remember 2024. That year kind of sucked because I remember dropping out of college because I'm like, hey, this isn't really doing anything. I have a network of 2,500 people, something like that in engineering. And that's cool and all. I could tell the professors don't really care about their job. None of them are really passionate about things. The most passionate I'd seen was math, and math's great and all. I just like, it's not, I'm not good at like the upper level things. I can't just retain all these things. And that's something I'm super passionate about. It's just not something that'll actually set me apart because I know other people can do it better than I can. But it was really interesting to me because I saw the professors that I really liked were not in my fields at all. And you'll notice time and time again that the people that you really do like, those are the ones that you remember. And oftentimes people will find themselves switching to find something that you see someone else passionate about because you lack passion in whatever it is that you do. But simply seeing that is something to be admired. The professors that I liked most were it was either Calc 2 or 3. I think Calc 1, my professor, was the really old guy who talked about nuking the fire ants in his lawn every day instead of other things. He was also the same professor, I think, that messed up a linear equation the first day of class, and I was like, wow, this is college. This is college. I know we can't be judgmental of people, especially people in their 80s or 90s, but I'm like, why are you fucking teaching college? Please. I love you. I love you, old people. I love you so much because you've been here so much longer than we have, and you understand things that we don't. But why are you more passionate about killing fire ants in your yard than you are about whatever equation you just wrote on the board? You know, that's crazy to me. And I look at both my parents' lives, and I look for the passion in their lives. I know what my dad really likes. He likes playing sports. He likes doing things outside the house. That's cool. My mom likes talking to people. That's cool. I don't see a reflection of that in either of their professional lives necessarily. I know my dad's a phenomenal coder. I know my mom, she's a physical therapist, but I'll say witch doctor because there's a lot of modern medicine that she's very at arms against. And I wonder how much damage she does by comparison of the things that she says relative to the amount of injuries that she heals with the actual doctoring she does. I guess that's another story for another time though. But like it's crazy to be both a politician and a doctor to some extent. To lobby for someone and then to go out and say, I'm gonna heal people too. You know, that's these are both priorities. And they seem like they're completely two opposite worlds from each other. I look back on October, that one year where 2024, I guess. My calendar's a little bit messed up because instead of erasing anything, I simply drew over it. So originally it says April 2020, and then I put in parentheses 4, and then I added +1 to that at the end. But I think it was October 2024, where my parents were like, you know what, we're going to take away everything that you know because you don't want to do the things we want you to do. You don't want to do college because you say it's worthless. And for us, this is our way of life. We can't live without a college degree, a piece of paper that says you're worth something. So you're no longer worth anything to us, you know? And of course, this is not what they said, but this is very much what was communicated because I told them I was like, hey, we can do this. I'll fight this game. I'll play this. I'll gamble a little bit, you know? I was like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, I'm just not going to take anything from you at all. In fact, I'm not going to take food from you. I will sit here and I will rot. And it was funny because that wasn't enough for them either. Um, my dad was like, "Oh, you're suicidal now? You're gonna do that?" I'm like, "No, just give me back the stuff you took. I'm 21. I was 20 back then. I'm about to be 22 this year." Um, I remember my mom crying about it and stuff too. She's the same mom that treated me like I'm retarded. Excuse the language on YouTube, I guess. The dream slur, whatever. Medically accurate something. I don't know. She would go to my room and be like slurring her words down, saying like, "Oh hey, you know, if you can't do these things, then we're gonna have to find some other way to do that." And that's the life I've lived. Those are my parents. I think back to that. I think back to the time earlier in the shower. I was thinking about this morning. At the time my mom would push and shove me, there was a time where I had the child CPS, Child Protective Services, that were memorized because I don't feel safe around my mom sometimes. And it's not like that's ever been the case since then, but those are the types of people that I've grown up with in my life. A boss that invests in me more than they do. My mom taught me how to teach, or taught me how to cook spaghetti about a month ago. So, women cook, I guess, or that's how she sees herself in the house, and dad sees himself as a dad, I guess, even though he pays very little interest to things I'm interested in, unless there's a mutual overlap, I suppose. Which I guess is where math comes in sometimes, where I'll throw him a bit of a riddle that I'm not able to solve, or if you've like two accelerating rates of acceleration, but you can suddenly double something when the optimal time to double that is, which actually, funny enough, comes from games like this, where idle games, like that's something that I like finding ways to optimize things. I can do that all day. But that was all the interest I ever got, I guess. Even last night, I was saying, like, hey, we should do taxes. And granted, that's probably my fault that I went to sleep and slept for 12 and a half hours because I didn't feel great from my allergies yesterday. I didn't feel great from being overworked. In fact, yesterday I thought I came home and had a fever. No, my heart rate was just through the roof from how hard I worked yesterday. These are the people in our lives. The people that I've told about this channel long since forgot about it. And the internet might forget too, and probably for the best, for there's no reason to see these things other than to learn from them, I suppose. How to not be the man sitting in front of you here. How to not be, how to not lose for 2 years straight. How to look back and enjoy things. How to look back and love. How to look back on people that you genuinely miss because they have a personality and they show some semblance of caring. Great gameplay, right? On the screen in the background. I don't know. I'm tired. So, thanks for listening to today's sad reality. I know it's been a bit much. And in a way, I this is kind of what I hoped the channel would be, was something more authentic, and maybe we'd get there one day, maybe that day is today. But keep living on, I suppose. I'll see you in tomorrow's sad reality. Have a good one, y'all.